million Girl Scouts have gained leadership skills and self-confidence through the organization that she founded. They include CEOs, astronauts, my own Secretary of State, and from the very beginning, they have also included girls of different races and faiths and abilities, just the way that Juliette would have wanted it. Toni Morrison, she is used to a little distraction. As a single mother working at a publishing company by day, she would carve out a little time in the evening to write, often with her two sons pulling on her hair and tugging at her earrings. Once a baby spit up on her tablet, so she wrote around it. Circumstances may not have been ideal, but the words that came out were magical. Toni Morrison's prose brings us that kind of moral and emotional intensity that few writers ever attempt. From Song of Solomon to Beloved, Toni reaches us deeply, using a tone that is lyrical, precise, distinct, and inclusive. She believes that language arcs toward the place where meaning might lie. The rest of us are lucky to be following along for the ride. During oral argument, Justice John Paul Stevens often began his line of questioning with a polite, "May I interrupt?" or "May I ask a question?" You can imagine the lawyers would say, "Okay." After which he would just as politely force a lawyer to stop dancing around and focus on the most important issues in the case. And that was his signature style: modest, insightful, well-prepared, razor-sharp. He is the third longest-serving justice in the history of the court. And Justice Stevens applied throughout his career his clear and graceful manner to the defense of individual rights and the rule of law, always favoring a pragmatic solution over an ideological one. Ever humble, he would happily comply when unsuspecting tourists asked him to take their picture in front of the court. And at his vacation home in Florida, he was John from Arlington, better known for his world-class bridge game than his world-changing judicial opinions. Even in his final days on the bench, Justice Stevens insisted he was still learning on the job. But in the end, we are the ones who have learned from him. When a doctor first told Pat Summitt she suffered from dementia, she almost punched him. When a second doctor advised her to retire, she responded, "Do you know who you're dealing with here?" Obviously, they did not. As Pat says, "I can fix a tractor, mow hay, plow a field, chop tobacco, fire a barn, and call the cows, but what I'm really known for is winning." In 38 years at Tennessee, she racked up 8 national championships, more than 1,000 wins. Understand, this is more than any college coach, male or female, in the history of the NCAA. And more importantly, every player that went through her program has either graduated or is on her way to a degree. That's why anybody who feels sorry for Pat will find themselves on the receiving end of that famous glare, or she might punch you. She's still getting up every day and doing what she does best, which is teaching. The players, she says, are my best medicine. Our final honoree is not here, Shimon Peres, the President of Israel, who has done more for the cause of peace in the Middle East than just about anybody alive. I'll be hosting President Peres for a dinner here at the White House next month, and we'll be presenting him with his medal and honoring his incredible contributions to the state of Israel and the world at that time. So I'm looking forward to welcoming him, and if it's all right with you, I will save my best lines about him for that occasion. So these are the recipients of the 2012 Medals of Freedom. Just on a personal note, I had a chance to see everybody in the back. What's wonderful about these events for me is so many of these people are my heroes individually. You know, I know how they impacted my life. I remember reading Song of Solomon when I was a kid, and not just trying to figure out how to write, but also how to be and how to think. And I remember, in college, listening to Bob Dylan and my world opening up, because he captured something about this country that was so vital. And I think about Dolores Huerta, reading about her when I was starting off as an organizer. Everybody on this stage has marked my life in profound ways. And I was telling somebody like Pat Summitt, when I think about my two daughters, who are tall and gifted, and knowing that because of folks like Coach Summitt, they're standing up straight and diving after loose balls and feeling confident and strong, then I understand that the impact that these people have had extends beyond me. It will continue for generations to come. What an extraordinary honor to be able to say thank you to all of them for the great work that they have done on behalf of this country and on behalf of the world. So it is now my great honor to present them with a small token of our appreciation.
So the President of the United States making the Medal of Freedom presentation to 13 outstanding individuals from here in the United States and around the world. 13 individuals who well deserve the nation's highest civilian award. And happening now, Donald Trump's support for Mitt Romney is in the spotlight, along with Trump's embrace of conspiracy theories about President Obama's birth certificate this hour. I'll ask Donald Trump about his appearance with Mitt Romney later tonight and whether he's doing his candidate more harm than good. Plus, much of the world now is blaming the Syrian government for a weekend massacre that the White House calls a depravity. But the Obama administration is going only so far in doling out punishment. Are the president's hands tied right now by Russia? And Raul Castro's daughter allowed into the United States and now making a very public appearance in New York City. We're looking at what she's doing here and why it's a punch in the gut for so many Cuban Americans. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room.